I'm Heide Goody, and my writing partner Ian Grant isn't here, but we have a stand-in. Yeah, this is Spike. He's going to read some of the parts.
Hello.
So we're going to read A Spell in the Country by Heide Goody and Ian Grant. This is a part of the novel. Jenny the witch put in an earbud as they walked towards the bus stop. Pretending to be on a phone call was the easiest way of talking to Jizzimus in public. She sometimes wondered how many delusional people went unnoticed. Now it was okay to talk to oneself in public. For once, it would be nice to go on a lunch date without you in tow, she told the imp.
You know it don't work like that, Gov. Was it a date?
Not like that. Kevin Carter King is an old friend.
Fat friend. Has he really got a swimming pool full of gold?
No.
I could fill his pool with gold if he likes.
Jizzimus whittled on the pavement. He always tried to spell his name, but he was only a little imp and rarely got past the third letter. Kevin had given her his business card before she left, just in case she did want to take him up on a job offer. But Jenny knew that that would be a mistake, a holding pattern rather than a solution. I need chocolate, she said. Lots of chocolate. That child in the cafe, it cried and cried and...
I know a really good way to make him shut up.
Making you shut up, that would be a good trick.
Bloody cheek.
Jenny went into a newsagent and came out with a £half-pound bar of dairy milk. £3.50, she muttered in disgust.
Children are free.
Leave me alone. She unwrapped the purple foil. Look, go torment a chugger, you like that. Jizzimus giggled and with a clippity-clop scampered away. New Street, the pedestrianised heart of the city, was the hunting ground of various religious evangelists, buskers and charity muggers. One had to slalom to avoid God, contemporary world music and direct debits for charities, which clearly spent their money on hiring high street bullies and wheedlers. Actually, Jenny had no problem with the buskers, but the rest could just jump in a ditch. She took a big bite of chocolate. It tasted good, just not quite good enough. It was the methadone of wicked witches. Delicious, but just not quite delicious enough to destroy her other cravings. Excuse me. She turned. It was a chugger with a clipboard, a badly executed beard and unusual headwear. I already gave at the office. That's nice to know, he said. I'm doing a survey. Does the survey end with me donating to your charity? No, or buying something from you? No, or God? I don't think so. Not unless God's running a 3-week self-improvement course. Jenny thought about that. Could be. She tried to draw Jizzimus's attention, but he was too busy humping the leg of a cancer research trugger. Go on then, she sighed, but I am going to stuff chocolate in my face while we do this. Fair enough, he said. He took a name and a contact number before launching into a baffling array of questions. He showed her pictures of cows and asked her to pick the best one. He showed her black and white photographs of women in Victorian dresses and asked her to rank them in order on no particular scale. He invited her to think of a number between 1 and 100 and then asked her to do the same 3 more times. He showed her woodcut images, a jester, a cat, a leafless tree and a tower, and asked her to match them to famous celebrities. He showed her photographs of several green leaves and asked her to select non-green colours to accompany each. He asked about her sleeping habits, her parents, and then asked her to describe her favourite cloud. He seemed pleased with all her answers. Jenny couldn't see why. By the time he'd finished, so was her chocolate bar. Jizzimus had stolen a tabla drum from a street music group and was going bongo-tastic at the feet of a hellfire preacher. Well done, said the weird survey man. I just need to ask, do you have any questions? One, I suppose, said Jenny. Why is your hat on fire? Excellent, said the man. He put a tick on his paperwork and gave Jenny a brochure with a number stamped on the top. Eastville Hall, she read. A lovely old house in the Fens. Do I now get to buy a remarkably cheap timeshare? No, that's where the self-improvement course is being held. Your answers match our criteria perfectly, and I'm delighted to say we can offer you a place. And how much does it cost? It's free. And how much does it cost? It's definitely free. However, it does start tomorrow evening, and I understand that's very short notice. Jenny smiled politely. Well, this has certainly been entertaining, but I have other plans. We can help with transport if that's a problem, he offered. Thanks all the same, she said, waving the brochure to emphasise she still had it. She stuffed it in her jacket pocket and walked away. Come on, Jizzimus, she called. I need more chocolate. Jizzimus threw the tabla drums into a flower store, bit the heads off some lilies and caught up with Jenny as an argument erupted behind them.
You see that? You see that, Gov? I did that. Mental.
A second bar of chocolate didn't help. Jenny sat on the stone steps overlooking St Martin's Church and munched mechanically. Jizzimus ran backwards and forwards, bringing her stones for her to throw through shop windows. By the time evening had rolled in, there was a pile of stones, half bricks and weighty lumps of scrap beside Jenny, but to Jizzimus's annoyance, no broken windows.
How do you know you don't like smashing windows unless you've tried it, eh?
I'm not interested, she said. I'm not interested in curses or hexes or blighting crops or...
You did a bit of blighting the other day.
When?
That bleeding cod piece at the sandwich shop.
I made his salad wilt. That's not the same thing. And he was being an arse.
Tell you what, I bet some of the shopkeepers round here are arses too.
I'm not smashing any windows, she sighed heavily. Jizzimus, tell me, am I fighting a losing battle?
Yes.
Kevin's right, she said. I'm racing towards 40 and my life is a mess. I can't hold down a job, a home, any kind of relationship. It's like I've got this terminal condition and I just keep fighting and fighting. And I know a day will come when I don't want to fight it anymore.
Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today.
It's just... She popped the last of the chocolate in her mouth, dropping the lump of masonry back on the ground. She was a wicked witch, something she was never going to shake off. There was the small stuff, mere coloration to her nature, the immunity from drowning, her troubles with iron, the tendency to accidentally cackle now and then. Other stuff was more potent, more dangerous. The curses that came to her lips so easily, the ability to conjure witch fire without even thinking about it, the imp familiar. Then there was the real problem, the big one, the one that could be her downfall one day. I could have eaten that toddler, she said.
Could have, didn't.
Children were simply scrumptious, whereas to ordinary humans they smelled of soap and biscuits and sweat and what have you. To wicked witches, their scent was delicious, beyond compare. They didn't actually smell of chocolate, but something about the aroma of young humans worked on the brain's chemistry in exactly the same way. Except chocolate was to children what milk was to ice cream, what grapes were to wine. God, children smelled nice! And when they were sad or angry or afraid, their sweet bodies sang with insanely enticing aromas. That crying toddler. No human cuisine could have possibly compared with eating that little one raw. But Jenny resisted. She had always resisted. She wanted to cry. I can smell him even now, she said. She sniffed at her fingers. She could smell something or someone. Not the toddler, but a child. The city was awash with the background aroma of hundreds of thousands of children. But there was one scent in the air, something keen and rich and more striking than any other. Can you smell that? She asked Jizzimus.
Are you going to eat it?
It's... She sniffed and smelled deeply. Sour. An older child, a teenager maybe, but it's... Oh God, that's gorgeous.
Are you going to eat it?
He must be absolutely terrified. She sniffed again. She's terrified.
Fine. Are you going to eat her?
know, said Jenny, but we're going to find her.
Brilliant.
Thank you, Jizzimus.
No problem.